All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Matt here on WXCU Radio here at Capital University. Thanks for tuning in. We are beyond excited for this right here, right now, on our station right here. We are very blessed to be brought to you here with Josh Radnor and Ben Lee. They actually are... Josh Radnor, you probably know from his movies and his appearance in How I Met Your Mother. Ben Lee is a really cool indie rock musician who's been around for a really long time. I was listening to a bunch of Noise Attic last night. Really good stuff. They're both really cool, and they're actually starting a new project together. They're releasing their new album this year under the name Radnor and Lee. We actually just picked up their single Be Like the Being a couple weeks ago, and it's a really good banger, and I'm glad they're here today. Can you hear yourself? Let me do that. So how are you two doing today?
Doing well.
Cool.
We'll have to answer that separately. We're not on one line.
Yeah.
I'm also doing good.
That's good.
How are you?
Doing well. It's real sunny here in Columbus, Ohio, which is good stuff. I love Columbus. It's a nice day out. So the first question I have to ask you is, I know you've known each other for a while, but and you started writing some music together, but what really drove you two to really kind of like make it a full album to come out later this year?
Well, yeah, we've been friends for over a decade, and we just share a lot about, obviously what's going on in our lives, what we're reading, interests, all these kind of things, and there was so much overlap that I think I said at some point, like, we should really write a song together, and we kind of kicked it down the road for a while, and then one day we did just set aside some time, and that's when, actually our first song was called Wider Spaces. I think the second song we wrote was Be Like the Being.
Cool.
So by the time we had written 2 or 3 songs that we really liked, Ben said, let's make a record, because it was clear we had a really fun songwriting vibe together, and we were just having a great time. So when he said make a record, we just got really serious about it and met once a week, once every 2 weeks, and just every time we got together, we got at least a kind of half-finished song, if not a full song done. So
nice.
There's a real flow to it.
That's very cool, very exciting. What exactly is like the process for your writing? Because I was reading elsewhere that Josh, you were like writing lyrics and Ben was working on the music, but did you eventually like work to like actually do music stuff together to make it work?
I think it's about 50-50. We didn't really... That's the most obvious combination, but like the first song, Josh was saying Wider Spaces, that is one that came from a melody he'd had in a dream. I was actually much more inspired by the ones that he had musical inspiration for, because it took me out of my comfort zone. And, I've been making records for so long that you can get into the same patterns.
Yeah.
And the beautiful that a collaboration like this is Josh came to his own ideas and energy, and it forced me into Wider Spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. Like I when I listen to the record, it doesn't necessarily sound like a Ben Lee record. It sounds like a Ben Lee Josh Radnor record, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Still kind of inventing the sound of it.
Yeah.
But Ben said to me at one point, he said, I have this very strong feeling that I'm supposed to, really support your musical vision and help you, and he made me feel like, no, I had something to really contribute melodically, not just lyrically.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of my favorite songs were just simply written in a room side by side with, talking about a vibe, where I brought in like a fragment of a lyric or an idea or a poem we both liked, and then just kind of riffing on it, and Ben would play something and I would start kind of improvising something melodically. And those are the songs where it's like I couldn't even tell you who wrote what line or what melody. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we're also joined in the studio today by my friend Jenna here. She also works for the station. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you
Jenna.
guys? Hi.
Yeah.
I had some headphone troubles earlier.
Yeah, but she's here now.
I'm good.
It's exciting. It's good stuff.
So you guys have been billed as like singer-songwriters. Beyond your personal experiences with writing songs about spirituality, who do you think are some of your favorite spiritual artists that really inspire you guys?
I mean, I wouldn't really separate spiritual music, quote unquote, from any other music. I think I've always felt that the very act of making music or playing music is spiritual in itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is the manipulation of vibration
in
order to affect someone's spirit. So it's always funny to me, like when I meet people, like musicians who say they're not spiritual people. I almost think they're joking. I remember once I was talking to Connor Oberst about this subject, and I said God, and he said, or music, and then he said same thing. And I always, so for me it's hard to say, like, is it spiritual because it has like prayers in it or mantra in it? Like, I mean, music affects spirit. It's something I think we fundamentally know to be true as human beings.
Right. It's also true, music is the only non-representational art. Like everything else, sculpture, painting, even, acting, all these other art forms are representing the world of matter. They're reflecting back what we can kind of see and grasp. And music has this ephemeral kind of non-graspable quality. It's something that but you can't kind of hold it. And in that way, it's kind of spiritual in the sense that it's beneath the world of matter or above it or something. I agree with everything Ben said. It's what I'm trying to say.
Very cool. Very cool. I did not think about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. I when I was thinking about just different spiritual stuff, I was very specifically in my mind thinking a lot of Brian Wilson and doing his whole smile thing as the quote unquote teenage sympathy to God. But that's a really good point that people just music is in itself is a spiritual thing of doing that all together. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, because it's it's coming from you. It's part of you. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I think we also are committed, just both of us in our lives, to kind of offering something that doesn't feel toxic or degrading to ourselves and our spirit. And we're it's not like we're singing from a place of mastery or knowing. We're kind of in the thick of the battle of life, trying to find the wisest, most sane ways to move forward with some grace and compassion and all that stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. So yeah, the next question, this one is a more specifically Josh question, because I know you are actually around from this neck of the woods. You are here from Bexley, Ohio. So I had a question. Have you ever had a chance to meet some of the other more renowned people from Bexley, Ohio? More specifically, I was wondering about R.L. Stine.
I don't think I have. Who is that?
He's a dude that wrote the Goosebumps book series. I don't know if you ever read those growing up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't met him. That's super cool. I didn't know he was from Bexley.
Yeah, there's a lot of weirdly famous people from Bexley and just Columbus in general. I didn't know until I started going to school here, but it's a cool city. There's a lot of cool people here.
It's a lot. It's really boomed since I left. I mean, I can't believe how exciting and vibrant it feels when I go back. I actually grew up. My house is moments from where you guys are right now.
Oh, really?
I grew up
That's cool.
Really close to the Drexel Theater on Main Street, really close by.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is very cool. What do you think was your favorite Bexley landmark growing up, and just what was your favorite part of just growing up in this area, do you think?
I don't know. I have really strong memories of, being in junior high and going to Ravino's Pizza after the Bexley football game. I still maintain that Ravino's is the greatest pizza on the planet. But I don't know. I like when I come home, how beautiful Bexley is always kind of. I forget how beautiful it is and how many trees there are and how it's a great place to grow up. I'm happy to be from there, and I love meeting people who are from Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
It is a very nice neighborhood.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Very, very thankful to live here. But yeah, this next question here is actually for Ben. I saw you posted a picture, I think it was a couple weeks ago, of a custom Bathing Ape shirt that you had made when you were working with Nigo on his album. And I was curious, what was that experience like working with him?
Well, Nigo, I mean, I haven't seen Nigo for years, but he was a very enigmatic guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the original Japanese hipster guy, and he was very quiet, very cool. But that song, actually, Freediving, that I did on his record, I sent him keyboard, guitar, and vocals, and he did all the rest with this engineer, this producer Kudo.
Oh, cool.
So they sent it back, and it was just this amazing version. And I don't hear. I mean, it's not a record that did went particularly wide outside of Japan, but I was playing at Sundance a few years ago with his DJ Z-Trip.
Oh,
and
nice.
he played it in his set, and he didn't know it was me. So there's like a few people that really like it, but I like that.
Yeah, that was a really cool record. How did like that collaboration like come about to like begin with?
I think because I was on Grand Royal, which was the Beastie Boys label, and I think he was pretty connected with them and the artists that they were interested in, and so I'd see him when I went over to Japan, and so he's just sort of in the extended family, I guess.
Very cool, very cool.
I have a couple questions for Josh. I heard you have a new show on NBC coming up called Rise. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. It's a terrific thing to be a part of. We shot the pilot in New York in March, and it was just picked up to series by NBC, so we're going to be on post-Olympics in 2018. And it's based on a true story that was documented in a really wonderful book by Michael Sokolow called Drama High, about a teacher in southeastern Pennsylvania, an English teacher who took over the drama department and ran it for 44 years. This really amazing, inspiring figure named Lou Volpe. So it's a fictionalized version of that. It takes place. It starts now. Also in southeastern Pennsylvania, and I play a drama teacher, or an English teacher who takes over the drama department, and it's by Jason Kadams, who did Friday Night Lights and Parenthood, so it's got a real kind of gritty, real, authentic feel to it, but it's just a really, it's a super inspiring, wonderful show, and I'm particularly happy to be a part of it because my life was certainly changed by starting to do theater at a high school drama department in Bexley, specifically.
And when is that show debuting again?
I think it's February, March of 2018. They're going to use the Olympics to kind of launch it, so it should be on after that. Yeah.
I look forward to checking that out. That sounds pretty cool. So as a fellow actor from Bexley, I'm a huge fan of the work you've done over the years in acting. And I'd love to talk with you a lot more about it sometime, but I don't want to take up too much of our time today talking about it. So I'll just ask you, what's an acting tip that you have for someone aspiring to get into the industry?
Well, this is going to sound weird. I always tell people to get a meditation practice because it's not, you can learn all the acting from all the classes and from the work you do, but a lot of it is about staying sane and grounded and not getting knocked off your center. You audition a lot, you don't get a lot of roles, things don't work out, things you thought were going to be a big deal turn out not to be. I mean, it's a very confusing thing. So finding a daily practice, to just close your eyes and get quiet and connect with that center part of yourself, that knowing that is just more rooted to something bigger than self. That to me has been a lifesaver, and I don't know that I would be where I am with it. Where I not have had a daily meditation practice since I think 2004. So I know that sounds weird, but that would be my number one advice.
No, it's not weird at all. How do you balance music and producing and acting, all of that stuff? Is it meditation?
I suppose, I think Ben also has an incredibly busy life in addition to a wife and a child, which I don't have. And maybe Ben could speak to this, but I think sometimes, one, if you're doing what you love, you find space for it because it's a joy to do it. It's not drudgery.
Yeah.
And two, the more you take on, the more you realize that you can take on. So you realize you have a little more bandwidth than you realize.
Okay.
What do you think about that, Ben?
Yeah, that's 100%. I remember hearing someone say, if you want something done properly, find someone busy to do it. And that, I think that's really true, that capable people build up their capacity and their bandwidth to, move their mind and their concentration in different ways. And I don't know, the more successful people I've met in my life, the more I notice they're actually very open to new opportunities and new ideas.
Right.
They haven't really shut the door. They're keeping it. They sort of keep a sense of new adventures being possible.
Okay.
I actually had heard that one of the features of highly creative personalities is taking on more things than you can finish. And that always helped me just to say, you know what, I'm going to start lots of stuff, and it doesn't mean everything's going to come to fruition. I have a lot of half-finished screenplays on my computer, and some of them will get finished and some of them won't. But it's kind of keeping things fertile, and out of that fertility, certain things bloom and get done. And I like doing lots of different things. It keeps things exciting.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So I had another question for Ben specifically. I noticed that Noise Addict actually got like a huge compilation reissue that came out earlier this year on Numero Records, I saw. So I guess the question here is like, do you ever like really, especially when coming out with like some sort of retrospective like that, do you ever really like revisit much of that? And what I guess do you think of like revisiting like such like older material like that?
I don't do that very often at all. I had to convert a lot of cassettes to digital files for this because it's all recorded just was on a Sony tape deck.
Oh yeah.
So I had to listen to it played once, and it's funny as I get older. Musically, I find it funnier and funnier. Because probably unintentionally, just the level of seriousness that he had, yet our level of competence was so mismatched to the level of seriousness.
Yeah.
But also, I still love our attitude. Like, I can see why doors opened for us because there were no gatekeepers. Like we were like these 14-year-old kids from Sydney who were just like, we're doing this. And it's amazing how a little chutzpah, I don't know if you guys use the word chutzpah in Ohio, but
a little
we do. Some people do.
A little chutzpah can get you a long way,
Yeah, it's very cool. I know you actually put out a newer-ish record with Noise Addict back in like 2009, which you actually recorded with Lou Barlow from Sebadoh, which is really cool. What was like the experience of working with him? Were you like doing that in person, or is that like a more like remote collaboration working with that?
Yeah. Lou was on the road, and then I wanted to do something very deliberately lo-fi and sort of impermanent and throwaway. And I was thinking, it doesn't feel like my official next record. What should I call it? And then I realized, well, I've already sort of got a name for that. It's Noise Addict. But Lou was great. I mean, the cool thing about it is my songs are really simple, but he took getting into them and finding the groove in them like really seriously. And I was very grateful to him for that.
That's cool.
Hey, Noise Addict's a great name, Ben. Where'd you get that? That's a good name.
Well, funnily enough, I don't know. I just made it up. But the weird thing was, then I heard Sebadoh, Lou's band, shortly after, and he had a song called The Lou Rap on this first record I heard. I think it was on Sebadoh 2 or 3 or something. And it said, my name is Lou, and I'm here to say every sound that rebounds comes around my way, controlling the crackle of the static, the levels of red. I'm a white noise addict. And it's just very weird. It just felt like that type of strange synchronicity that sometimes happens with creativity where ideas they're happening simultaneously in multiple parts of the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just a phrase, but it did represent what our passions were.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that name too, and I would just love that project a lot. It's really cool. I didn't actually really get into it until really recently, but it's some really good stuff. So thanks for making that.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I guess there's a question going back to the new record for the both of you. What are some of the details, I guess, more about this album? And do you know like exactly when it's going to be released? Because I know there's going to be at least like 1 or 2 more singles after this one. But do you know like how this new record's going to be?
We're talking about September.
Okay, cool.
At the moment, we got to lock in the plans, but that's where we're at. And I don't know, Josh, what do you got to say about the making of the record? Ryan Dillmore, praise be he.
Yeah, our friend Ryan Dillmore, who is a great singer-songwriter in his own right. He produced the record, and so lovingly he produced this record, and kind of taught us, what in the same way a great producer could do. Kind of showed us how big the songs were and could be, and it was a terrific collaboration. I enjoyed every moment of it. So I don't know. There's 10 songs and a cover. I think it's 11 songs total.
Cool.
And we're looking towards a late summer, early fall release.
Very exciting. Very exciting. Well, yeah.
Would you guys be doing a tour or anything to promote it?
That's difficult. It's difficult with my new show coming up because I'm going to be in New York shooting for so many months. We were just actually talking, and maybe we'll officially announce this, but we'd love to do a New York release, show.
Ooh.
So we're going to look into doing that for anyone who is in New York City. We'd love to have you come by, but we'll knock out details of that soon.
Yeah, if you did that.
And I think our attitude at the moment is, not to turn this into a job, but to make sure that we feel in integrity and that it's fun, each step of it. Because it is, even though we've both been in show business for a long time, it's a new project and it's like a baby. And we just, I think, want to cultivate it and be respectful of it and let it find its feet on its own and see what its future is. I mean, no one knows,
Yeah, that's very cool. But speaking of shows, you're actually playing the second of 2 shows at Hotel Club out in LA, which is where you were at and will be on Monday or Tuesday, May 23rd. Yeah.
It's Hotel Cafe on Tuesday at, I think, 9 o'clock.
Cool. Very cool. How did the first show of that go?
We actually did 2 shows last fall at Hotel Cafe, and then a couple of little smaller gigs, and then we've just been back in a kind of half residency this month. So
cool.
Our last show was terrific. It was great. It was one of our favorites. And then we're actually playing on Tuesday night with a full band. Ryan is going to be playing with us, our friend David Watts on bass. And what's our percussionist's name? I haven't met him.
Nick Gaffney. He's amazing. You're going to love it, Josh.
Okay, great. Yeah, so it'll be our first time supported by a full band, so we're thrilled about that.
That's going to be really exciting. Yeah, very exciting to look forward to. Hopefully that goes well. Obviously, I don't think I'll be able to make it out being here in Ohio, but
we'll get to Columbus soon enough. It's tight. Yeah,
very exciting.
Depending when you do that album release show in New York, I might be there, so that's exciting.
All right.
We'll try and give you good news.
I think we're going in October because there's an audio convention going on. So a bunch of us from the school are taking a road trip down there.
Oh, nice.
I guess it'd be over there.
We'll try and make our plans around your trade show.
Please do. It'd be greatly appreciated. So what would be the one main reason why people should listen to Radnor and Lee? If you had to give one reason.
I mean, to me, it's just I think people need hope right now, and they need hopeful art that promotes hope.
Absolutely.
So we're just trying to do our civic duty and inject some hope through song. Yeah. And I think there's no better reason.
And it does, given how kind of polarized everything is, and I don't like to make bold pronouncements, but it does feel like it's a tough time. A lot of people are going through some tough stuff individually and collectively, and it feels like a really kind of smart and lovely active rebellion to put something out there that's hopeful and kind of connects us to the being, to that part of us that is beyond all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Well, thank you so much again for joining us this afternoon. It's been such a pleasure being able to talk to you both.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
talking to you guys, and thanks for supporting the single and spread the word. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. We're actually going to play it one more time to close you out here. This is Be Like the Being Here on WXCU by Radnor and Lee. Listen to this WXCU Capital University Radio.
How would it feel to be free of self? If I could free myself, if only I could, if only I could, if only. How would I feel if I had a heart at peace? If I could be released, if only I could, if only I could, if only. Be like the being, free like the being. being like the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be like the being, free like the being like the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be. How would it feel if I could win the war? Forget what I thought before. If only I could, if only I could, if only. How would it feel if I could decide at last the future is not the past? If only I could, if only I could, if only. See like the being, hear like the being, act like the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be like the being, free like the being, agree to see the being, 'cause the reason for the being is to be real, ideal, be joy, be just, be wise, be aware, but learn to trust, be brave, be bold, be whole, be new, be loved, believe there's God in you, be soft, be firm, be kind, be bright, be free of doubt, be full of light, be sober still, be truly free, be a man who knows he's here to be. How would it feel to be free of self? If I could free myself, if only I could, if only I could, if only.